All right, Patriots, we are live again tonight. Gonna wait a little bit here and get some viewers in. I've kind of put a little call out and said we're going to be live today. I'm going to share this real quick on my public on my own other page that I didn't set it up on. But let's get ready here, Mike.
Ready.
We're going to do a little interview here and an update about what's been happening in Texas. Just bear with me here a minute, and let's see if we can get some viewers, get people to tune in. We had a really good audience. Here we go. We got people already tuning in. Guys, let's share this. Let's share this. Let's get people to join in on this podcast right now. We need to, we're going to give an update. If you got to see our story, our breaking story the other night with Mike Miller here, we talked about what was going on West Texas, Uvalde County, and he's going to come give us an update. So let's get these numbers up a little bit. And hang on a second here. So Mike, how have you been so far? How has the last couple of days been?
Well, you can probably imagine my cell phone has exploded. I have to say, I want to take time to tell everybody who has jumped on board with me with Warriors for Ranchers and who cares and has taken the time to write nice messages and share love with me. I had a family call and pray with me today to give me spiritual support during this time. And I've made a ton of friends over the last 24 hours. It's been absolutely amazing. And I want each and every one of you guys know that I love you guys. And I'm not trying to do nothing but be a voice for each farmer and rancher out there that's being affected during this crisis. And I know that this is way bigger than all of us. And I will do my best to carry this information and use it with integrity and with honesty and make sure that we are getting the word out to the people that matter. And we're going to make a change, and we need to do it fast.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, for coming back on tonight. I know it is late. I know that you went to the Capitol today. We came live, and just for those, I don't know who is online or whether they're the ones that saw you the other night. Let's just do a really quick recap about who you are again, so this audience knows who you are, and just give us one scenario of what happened to you at your ranch, and then we're going to go on and give an update about what's happening now and what has happened in the last couple of days with you. So first, tell our audience who you are.
So I'm Mike Miller. I'm a native Texan. I'm a retired military veteran, and I have a partnership with a friend of mine out of Uvalde County, and we have a hunting property there in Uvalde. Him and his family own about 20,300 acres. And on the 300-acre property that we work together with, we have had a humongous influx. We're being called the head of the hurricane, if you will, because the amount of bailouts and the amount of immigrants that's come across. And 2 weeks ago, they shot at me while I was just simply out there on the ranch trying to get things taken care of. And that one incident went for us trying to capture 2 individuals to them capturing, when they brought the helicopters up and around, they found 60 total immigrants in that area. And the 2 gentlemen that were shooting at us, thank God for the Uvalde patrol officer in charge and his crew. They managed to catch them on the Nueces River before they got any further out there. So because of these incidents and other ones surrounding, I felt that I needed to be a voice for ranchers, and I founded Warriors for Ranchers. And today I got to speak at the Capitol building.
Awesome. And just remind our audience really quick, Mike, you were shot at about a couple weeks ago on your ranch.
On the ranch, absolutely.
Right. And let's just recap that one story, because I know that there was several now you faced, but I just want, in case there's new viewers, I want them to know exactly who you were, what happened that day.
It's very important for you guys to understand that there are cartels coming through, and they're smuggling drugs. There's large pictures. You guys want to see pictures of drugs, go to Van Horn's Sheriff's Department. Look at the amount of marijuana coming through on pack mules. Look at the amount of marijuana being transported in the Suburbans in the pictures that they have. They're moving drugs through. This isn't your typical Mexicans just wanting to come to Texas. There's 67 countries represented in the people who have crossed our borders. And we can get into details and statistics further on in this podcast. But I am very lucky to be here. And I've been attacked directly 3 different times. And this was the one that impacted me the most. And this is just my story. And I'm starting to hear stories from folks all across South Texas. And I want you guys to know I care about you. I care about you, your families, your business. And I'm only as strong as your stories, and I'm only as strong as the facts. And thank God for our men and women in uniform who are standing up fighting this battle with us. They're spread thin, they're overworked, they're tired, and they're taking on a 400% larger workload trying to get this done here in Texas today. So my hat's off to you. I love you guys, and you guys know who you are. And I want to help put an end to this.
So, Mark, for those that say there's no crisis at the border, what is your response to that?
Oh my God, people. So you guys know what it's like when somebody's telling you a story and you're not there. You didn't get to see it. We're living it every single day. I'm going to tell you a story today. Can I share a story from the lady I spoke to in the Capitol?
Yes.
You guys need to hear this, okay? Imagine having a daughter who's 14 years old. This lady's name is April Salazar. Miss Salazar's given me permission to use her name and speak of this incident. And her daughter was simply going to school, folks. Simply going to school. She was jumped, and undocumented individuals tried to rape her, trying to get her panties off of her. Just like any woman would, she went to defend herself. Folks, she is having to go to court. A 14-year-old young lady is having to go to court for defending herself for nearly being raped. This is huge. This does not need to happen in the state of Texas. This doesn't need to happen in America, period. She should be protected. Mm-hmm. Now, I can't speak on every single detail of that case, but I'm going to tell you this. There wasn't a dry eye in the room when the mother was telling this story today. They were strong voices, and that lady right there served our United States military as well. She went to Iraq on Afghanistan on 2 different tours. And she's one hell of a mother. She's one hell of an American. And I'm proud to have her as a friend. And I got to see her speak today. And it tears my heart apart to know we can't even let our children wander the streets.
That's a really sad story. And yeah, people all over the country still do not believe that Texas is past a crisis. We are being invaded at the borders. You live in Uvalde, in the Uvalde County. You have a business out there that's been affected by this, and people still don't think that there's anything going on. You guys are living it. You pretty much, because you've been shot at, your truck has been tried to, somebody was coming at you and they try to hijack you.
Let's talk about
hijack your truck.
This is an update, a huge update. Yeah. Don't have the lady's full name, but a lady and her husband, because I don't have permission to say, was at an HEB pumping gas in Uvalde, the same grocery store where I get groceries, the same gas station where I get gas. I'm pretty sure you saw that text message she sent everyone. They were simply pumping gas, folks. A black GMC pickup truck pulled up behind them with 2 individuals. The driver jumped out of the vehicle. The other folks come around. They didn't realize there was a passenger in the car. Her husband was simply going to pay the tab for the gas, but she was smart enough to lock the door, but they were going to hijack her truck in the middle of the day, right broad daylight in the middle of Uvalde. This is just one case, folks, of what's happening down there. There is a humongous influx of people coming in, and they are desperate to get vehicles to get out of there. So I encourage you, if you have a Ford F-150 pickup truck, a Dodge truck, these are the trucks that are being targeted. I'm starting to get pictures from people of home camera video of these immigrants coming up in the middle of the night in their driveway on these doorbell cameras that they have, and they're trying to get into their vehicles. But lock your vehicles, take extra precaution if you live in these counties to protect yourself, because they're going to try to take them. They have no way to get around.
So now that you've updated our audience about pretty much what has happened to you, that we are definitely beyond a crisis now, Now give us an update. Your phone has blown up since the
Just
last time I talked to you, which is just a couple of days.
it's
Um,
phenomenal.
and you started this Warriors for Ranchers. You have an outpour of people calling you. Today you went, you know what, just a couple of weeks ago, nobody really knew your name in this political realm, right? Because you are known for your hunting business. But they didn't really know your name in the political world. You went to a town hall in Uvalde that was 250 people. What, a week and a half later, maybe something of that sort, you're now being asked to go speak at the Capitol. What happened today at the Capitol? Give us a rundown.
A lady reached out to me. Her name's Karen. I won't share her
Mhm.
last name because I didn't
Mhm.
get permission. But Karen's a sweetheart. She is an all-American patriot. So Karen, if
Mhm.
you're watching this, props to you. Um, she basically said, Mike, I hear your voice. I feel your heart. There's something taking place. I feel led to tell you you should be there. So just like anybody else, I have a full plate of things to do. But
Mhm.
this is bigger than me, and it was a higher priority in my life. So I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ, and I believe in God, and I believe that God gave me a clear path of where to go. So I put in my GPS the Texas State Capitol. Well, not realizing it's going to take me to the very front where the gate guard protects the Capitol. And that gentleman was very sweet, and he told me exactly where to go to
Mhm.
park. My first time doing something like this. As I walk in the door, I'm greeted by officers. I'm greeted with those folks that shove a cotton swab up your nose. All those things have to happen before you enter the building for their safety and ours as well. When
Mhm.
I got in there, every single hallway looked exactly the same.
Mhm.
And I had a group of Texas State troopers, fully armed individuals, very nice gentlemen, that basically told me this is what you need to do.
Mhm.
So I told them I wanted to speak and I needed plenty of time. Well, there's multiple bills being passed, and
Right.
bills were very large to me. One of them was about rioting, another one was about gun control, and I can talk about those here in a second. But it's learning, if you're going to speak at the Capitol building, you need to have a plan and you need to understand how the system works.
Mhm.
There's being presented. You need to first talk about that bill. You need to know if you're for, against, or neutral of that bill. All those things you
Right.
guys stuff. So I chose to speak on these bills, and I had
Mhm.
some big lawmakers sitting beside me, folks that have been working to push these bills for a very long time. I have to
Mhm.
say, successfully, I helped a lot of them get some motions moved today, which was quite a success for them. But it gave me a lot of business cards, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So we're talking about riots. Here in America, we have seen buildings being torn apart, private
Correct.
business being torn apart, invasions. I mean, even Target got hit. And
Mhm.
these folks are saying, we're going to go protest downtown, but they go rob Wells Fargo. It's not the right way to be doing things, folks. And this is something I got up there, all American cowboy hat on. I cowboyed up, as we say it here in Texas. And I
Mhm.
was. I'm going to have to say there was lawmakers sitting across that panel that didn't make eye contact with me, but you know they were listening. And
Right.
because they weren't making eye contact, I made sure I was definitely making eye contact their way because I care about them, but I care about the power they have where they sit. They need
Mhm.
to understand where they sit is a place of great responsibility. They need to
Right.
pay attention to the people that are coming with information that's valuable. I'm not just your average citizen coming to complain about something. I'm an all American. I'm a person that cares about Texas. I care about every farmer and rancher that is affected by these crises, and I hope for sure they knew who Mike Miller was when I walked out that door. Because every single bill that was read, they had another person that had to speak on it, and his name was Mike Miller. So I came up and I spoke on every one of them. We actually moved
Mhm.
forward for the rioting. There's going to be restitution paid on the behalf of those people that are causing these problems. It's no longer going to be just in the hands of the business owner. That's not no more hand slaps. So this is
Right.
what it was about. It's and because it was about the city and riots, I was able to talk about ranchers and invasions because this is the same exact thing, except for these
Interesting.
people are non-papered individuals coming into our ground unwelcomed,
Mhm.
terrorizing farmers and ranchers' properties, and the farmers and ranchers are being left to pay the bill. That's not fair. That's not how things should be. And I'm working hard to make that change. And today it was a unanimous 9 votes on that. And they bring the little bell, whatever they do, and we moved
Right.
on still.
Wonderful. Now, did you get asked to speak on the border bill, the one finishing the wall?
The one for the wall today?
Well, I don't. I think it's actually on Friday, or they're trying to get it out of committee. Did they tell you anything about, give you any updates on that one?
Nobody has given me that, but that's something that definitely draws interest to me.
Okay. Yeah, there's something definitely going on Friday for that. So you had a very productive day.
Yes, ma'am.
What was it like? I'm sure you met lots of people at the Capitol
I
and
got to
went to
one
speak.
more was passed. This is going to wake up a lot of Texan men and a lot of women out there, a lot of my hardcore American peeps who are watching this right now. So let me tell you this. I stand for the Second Amendment rights. I stand behind them. I serve this country. Our pioneers that built this country knowing that we could protect ourselves and we could arm ourselves. So one
Mhm.
of these bills that was discussed was about the hand carry license. I got a chance to tell them folks that guns do not jump off the wall and hurt people. They don't. And an AR-15 doesn't jump off the wall and hurt people. It's the mind behind that weapon. It's the intention of how it's going to be used.
Mhm.
Police officers carry weapons all day long. They're not pulling them out and just hurting people. Those weapons are being carried with responsibility because they're officers of the law. They deserve the respect as an officer, and they carry that weapon as a person with the responsibility to carry that weapon. A
Right.
citizen can do the same thing. This law was structured well. It was written to protect the folks that have the right and the legal capability to carry a weapon. This isn't for the people that have a heavy criminal background. Those folks aren't going to have an easy route to get a weapon. I believe
Right.
and stand behind that. And so I got to tell them I support this legislation. That was also voted unanimous and moved forward. So us
Wow.
Texas folks can know that we are going to be able to proudly get our concealed handgun license and continue to protect our families because that is what we need here in Texas.
Right. So let's talk about this. Have you had other ranchers, farmers, people from West Texas or any other part of Texas that's being affected by the invasion right now, that Texas is experiencing, all these illegals? Have you had people reach out to you now that are
All right.
maybe willing to come forward because you were the only kind of one that you were being a mouthpiece for them?
Have you
What's happening on
ever,
that end?
have you ever heard the term drinking water through a fire hose?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the fire hose. Get ready to drink because here we go. I had folks call me that have a ranch out in La Pryor, Texas. Very, very sweet couple. I want to
Hmm.
tell them right now they know who they are. They prayed over me tonight. But they have 800 head of cattle on their property. They just recently had an invasion on their property with three different gates that got broke through because the truck went through their gates, following their roads, and drove through three different fences, if I stand corrected. They were scared. They were able to get it repaired. But could you imagine 800 head of cattle getting out on a major highway? How devastating that would be. These families are having to pay for these things. I want to put another message out there for the oil families and folks out there. Oil families, most of the equipment is being monitored by computer. But the folks crossing the border are very smart. And there's going to be families that will reach out to you, Bianca, and they're going to say, hey, I've been affected by what Mike's talking about. I want to hear from you. If you're hearing from these families, I want to hear how many.
Hmm.
So at these active gas pumps, there's a gas that's poisonous, and it's called hydrogen sulfate. And these immigrants are learning that that particular gas sets off an alarm, and that alarm is monitored by an inspector. So that inspector has to go out in the middle of the night,
Hmm.
usually himself, to go out there to inspect these machines because it can be very explosive. I want you guys to know the reason I'm speaking on this is one of the people that came to the Texas Capitol today. They work with these oil families, and they're learning that these immigrants can trip that switch or whatever it takes to make that alarm go off. That
Hmm.
inspector going out there and they're hijacking their vehicles because they know he's usually coming by himself.
Wow.
Please, please take extra measures if you're one of these oil families that have these gentlemen that work for you for their protection and yours. Make sure they're not going out there just by themselves. I think extra measures need to be taken to protect those people. because I don't have exactly the details of how bad this person was beat up, but they're definitely hijacking his vehicle.
And remind our audience what it cost you as a rancher to fix your fence when
Oh,
these, and you're calling them immigrants. I don't call them immigrants. I'm calling them illegals. They are
yep,
illegal right now. Yes.
yes. So when these fences get torn up, since this time, I've had a lot of conversations. I was at Tractor Supply today. I've talked to the folks at Home Depot. I'm trying to get numbers and I'm trying to get statistics. And I'm not going to throw out just raw numbers because fence is about $10,000 a mile. So when these trucks are driving through at a high rate of speed, you have to know that they're not just tearing up a section as big as the truck. They're tearing off that fence that's pulling off the poles. Sometimes it could be half of a quarter mile of damage because those fences are pulled tight and then they're tightened to each pole, and that fence needs to be straight. No farmer wants a saggy fence. And
Mm-hmm.
plus, the in Texas have a requirement, if you have exotic animals, they need to be at a minimum of 8 feet tall. And so
Mm-hmm.
they have to keep those standards because it's a standard that the state upholds, and most ranchers want to do what's right. So
Mm-hmm.
not only did they have to pay to have the fence built, now they're having to go pay and fix it bent. And you got to think, in Texas, we have a lot of bedrock. So I want you guys to think about that perspective. It's not an easy task. They're going to have to take and pull those poles or cut those poles out. They're going to have to drill that soil again, replant those poles. They're going to have to rebuild. And that's not fair to anyone. And what I'm trying to put a stop to is these people that get caught, it's no longer going to be a free pass for them when this happens. There's going to be restitution that needs to be paid.
That's excellent. But Mike, people will tell you, well, they already owe the coyotes, they already owe the cartels, they're already in debt.
I'm
What
here,
makes us think that the illegals are going to actually pay for the damage done on your ranch?
man.
What makes us Texans think that they're going to pay us for that? Who
I,
is going to pay for it? Joe Biden? Greg Abbott? Who's going to pay for it?
well, I tell you
No
what,
one.
they got the money to spend 52 million bucks to put them in La Quinta Inn, 3 square meals a day, and buy them a cell phone. Maybe they can start paying for that too, because who's paying for those things? We
Did
are.
you talk to any elected officials today about that? Did you tell any elected officials today when you were at the Capitol about these incidents? Did you tell them who was going to pay for the damage? And what was their response? I'm curious.
Oh, actually, I did. If you got to see the video, when I was talking to them about this stuff, I
Hmm.
told them, who's paying the bill for this? It's the ranchers. The ranchers are paying the insurance deductibles to get the money, to get the materials, to do the work. But the insurance companies are only going to cover X amount of things. And whatever that X amount of things covers, anything over the top of that, it comes out of that family's pocket. It's families that are being affected. It's not just ranchers and farmers. They're people, and those people have families. I like to address them as ranchers and farmers because they're the men and women that pioneered Texas, and they're still doing it today. Some of these people's families have been around for hundreds of years. And
Correct.
properties that they've lived on carefree, now they're afraid to go to sleep there. It's not fair.
So, so what did the politicians say to you when you told them?
Time was limited today. I have a stack of business cards. I'd have to run. I got them in another room. I can read off names if you want. I've
No,
met,
no, no. I just was curious as if they had anything to say. What were their responses to you?
matter of fact, I'm a talker. And if I'm in a situation where I see people that look to me, they have value, I want to know who they are and why they're here. So while we were in the tent getting swabbed for the COVID test, there was a guy there, and his name's Charles. And Charles, if you're watching this, I love you, brother. He's a big gentleman, and he's a powerful man, and he was there for other reasons. But he looked at me. He told me he supports what I'm doing. He gave me his business card. While I was there, this pretty dress walks up to me. She was a little lady, but I'm going to tell you, she reminds me of you. She is a powerhouse. She is a voice for America, but she works for the Texas Realties Coalition. And she said, "You need me." When a woman walks up to you and hands you a business card and she says, "You need me," you know damn well I'll be calling Jessica. And that's her name. I don't have her last name memorized yet, but her name is Jessica. So, Jessica, if you're watching this, that was a very powerful move you made, and I will be giving you a call. These folks found value in what I had to say. Lawmakers found value. The Texas State Troopers Coalition was there to support laws for the sheriff's department. I'll speak on that briefly. They were trying to work on a
Well,
law. when
Hold on, Mike, because you still haven't answered my question. What did the lawmakers say back to you about anything that you said today? I'm just very curious.
so everything was on a time limit, and they're
So
moving their clocks a
they
little.
really didn't respond too much to what you
No,
had to say.
some of them did not even make eye contact with me. Matter of fact, I'm one of those guys. I'm proud to have been a part of something, but I got a chance to step back and look at it. I drove a long way to be there. I deserve respect. I
Why do
deserve
you think
paying
why do
attention
you think they didn't give you eye contact? This is a good question. Why do you think they didn't give you the eye contact when you're there to speak about what's going on at the border?
because they know damn well it's happening and they're not doing shit about it. Bottom line.
That's what I wanted you to say. I
And that's
needed you to say that because people need to hear that our legislators think this is a joke. They don't want to deal with it. They're earning money from it. They're benefiting from it, and they don't give a darn what's happening to the citizens of the state of Texas.
a little bit because you saw the other video. The head honcho there. I don't think I actually got his name on video. He approached me afterwards. So I was out there interviewing the two women that came and the woman who's pulled my heartstrings about her daughter. He walked out of there and I asked him, "Do you support what I stand for?" Did you hear what he said? He said, "I support what you stand for when it comes to our men and women in uniform. I support when it comes to you closing our borders, and I support what you're doing for the farmers and ranchers, and I support what you're doing with Warriors for Ranchers." I have 100% his support. And I said, "Would you be willing to come to a town hall?" 100%. He said, "I need to get down there." And he told the lady to come get his business card. And that was Miss Salazar. And I believe she got a business card from him. And if April, if you're watching this, please share his information with me. He was he was the leader of the session today. And he paid attention to me. He had a caring heart. He has a concealed carry license. He is an all-American Texas man, and he looked handsome in his cowboy hat when he stood in front of me. I have to say that because, when a cowboy comes out and he tells you he doesn't mind carrying a weapon and he supports that in Texas, that's a person I can stand behind. He was paying attention. There was a couple of other folks there paying attention, but the whole panel wasn't. There was a part of me that said, when you get done speaking there, you have 2 minutes, right? And this lady just told her testimony. I, no joke, said, "Can I just break a rule?" And they're like, "No." They wouldn't let me get up because I didn't understand how this works. There's a time
Right,
to get these bills passed.
right,
If
right.
it goes beyond it can hurt things. So it's a learning curve for me. And if I sound silly to you guys, I'm just a Texas man. I care about ranchers. I care about farmers. I want to put an end to all this crazy nonsense that's taking place. And I need your guys' help. And I need to hear your voices. And I need to hear your stories. To answer your question, lawmakers did approach me. Everybody's busy at the Capitol. They got their briefcase. They got that look on their face. They're trying to prepare themselves mentally for the thing that they're about to go stand up for. So
Mm-hmm.
I stopped a lot of them. I am literally the guy that was taking a picture of the state capitol, and I saw 4 suits walking by, and I'm like, "What are you guys here for? I need your help. Do you guys want to take 5 seconds to hear what I'm about?" They listened. I loaded up with business cards today. I will be taking the time to make those calls. And when I do, I believe 100% I have some powerful lawmakers who are ready to stand behind me. These are men and women that live in the city. They said, "I see and I hear what's going on down there, but to hear it from you is a different story." And they said,
Correct.
"This needs to not be your last trip to the Capitol, Mike." They go, "People need you and you need to speak more." So guess
So
what?
let me
This is the beginning of my road trip.
That's right. So let me ask you this. You sent me a picture. Was that a recent picture? Is this an everyday thing? Because I know we talked about it the other day, a couple nights ago, about ranchers finding dead bodies on their property. You
Yep.
sent me a picture the other day. Is that a recent one now? Is it this because this seems to be an everyday thing?
That picture was posted by another rancher that has a hunting property. I'm not going to say their name once again because I
Right.
don't have, but they were going to their hunting blind, and that picture's going viral now. That they did find a non-papered illegal laying underneath that blind dead. Absolutely. This is one of many folks. I called to get some data for Texas, Uvalde County's U.S. Customs. As of January, now counting this guy, I'm going to raise it to 5. If I'm wrong, they can say it in the comments. But I believe that 5 immigrants have been found, illegals have been found deceased on properties from the cold snap that we've had and being dehydrated and probably getting hyperthermic at night, whatever the case is. Even snake bite could get them. It's getting warmer and our snakes are getting out. You're seeing more of that type stuff. And if they get a snake bite and they don't get medical attention right away and they're dehydrated, there's no telling what can happen. I mean, it's not going to help them, but if they don't make it, those could be things that could easily contribute to that. Plus, they're walking through, all these sharp objects as well, because Texas, if it doesn't poke you, stick you, bite you. I mean, it's very, very dense woods they're traveling through.
So, Mike, people tell me, that I am so cruel and evil and mean because, I don't have any compassion for these illegals. I don't have compassion for the criminal illegal element at all. I have none.
Neither do I.
But the ones that are innocent, this is why I advocate for legal immigration, because they don't understand that they are putting their lives in danger. They are susceptible. These poor people are being taken advantage of, and they're being susceptible to being sold into human trafficking, child trafficking, you name it. They're sold into bondage, into slavery.
Can I
They're
paint a picture?
dying on ranches
That
from
is,
what you just described. That is not that I'm not compassionate. It's that if you really care about human life, if you care about humanity, you don't want to see that happening in an open area on your property. You don't want to wake up in the morning if you live on a ranch and find dead bodies on your property. And being that they might have died, like you just said, dehydration, a snake bite, whatever it may be, that should be prevented if they just came in legally. If there was a system set in place where they were coming in legally, then they would have means to be here. They would have somewhere to report to. They didn't have to depend on the government to come in. They wouldn't die on their way. That's not the American dream.
it's not the American. And you know what, Bianca, you ain't got a mean bone in your body. And I don't know why somebody would say that about you, because all I see is value with you, and I see that you have a caring heart for Texas and a caring heart for America, and that's why you have this platform, and that's why you have this following. Let me paint a picture for the lack of care of life that these immigrants have. I'm going to tell another story. I'm not going to give names. In 2007, there was a husband and wife simply going to bed. Their house was invaded. You probably know the story. House was invaded by, you saw it, 3 El Salvadorian illegals. They beat the husband so bad that he went into ICU, and they gang raped her for 6 hours, and they beat her to no extent. These people care about no life. These are the ones that we don't want in here. The immigrants that come through they want to get the papers and do the work and come here on a work visa and get a green card in the United States. We're for those people, and we believe that laws need to be passed to make things simpler for them. Their families have pioneered this country. Immigrants have helped build our nation, but illegal immigrants coming through illegally, it is illegal for a reason. And those people that want to get away, and those people that are coming with the drug cartels, and those people that are coming to hurt and they don't care, they're hijacking vehicles, they're hurting people, they have no care for life. They're killing people for vehicles. They're causing accidents. And in those accidents, when that concrete truck hit that group of illegal immigrants, 13 lives were taken, I believe, last month. And that was like a Ford Explorer. They went through a major intersection, and a concrete truck pounded them. There's a reason we have stoplights, but they don't care. They have no value for life.
That's right. We're seeing more.
The reason I'm so aggressive, Bianca, the only reason I'm aggressive, we are holding them with all of our powers that be that we have in Texas right now. We're pulling our state patrol officers, and we're utilizing them to help with these chases. And the big question that people are asking me that I think is very important that you and I cover today, they're asking why so many chases in their city? Why is it important? And why are we taking the time to process these individuals that they're just letting them go? Do you want to speak on that? Or do you want me to speak on that?
I'm going to let you speak on it.
Okay, so what I'm hearing for the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and our state patrol agencies, one, if these people are coming across our borders and we don't take the time to capture them and get documentation,
Mhm.
that's data. There's laws within the Texas, and they're being given a timeline. This is me giving the best that I have. If U.S. Customs and Border Patrols wants to speak on this further, but at the town hall, this is what I'm understanding. They capture these individuals. They get their ID. They get the documentation. They search them to make sure they don't have weapons. They're now COVID testing these individuals to make sure they're not bringing the deadly virus back into Texas, which, as I have said before, as of last week, those numbers were 130,000 illegals were tested. 4.5% of them tested
Mhm.
positive for COVID virus. I believe that total came out to 5,640 infected individuals released into our Texas state population.
That's
Once
right.
they have been processed, they have 6 months to report to ICE. Bianca and I can probably tell you, do you think they're going to be rushing to get there?
Hmm.
But if they fail to appear, now they are being held under federal regulations. Now we have reasons to put a warrant to them and get an arrest. That's
Hmm.
why we're taking the time to process these individuals. It is a fine line that our law enforcement officers have to walk. But you know what? Our law enforcement officers here in Texas, they're smart. And these men and women, they wear that uniform and they understand. They're using their brains and they're coming together as a team and they are doing the best that they can to get a hold of this situation with what they have available.
So what can people do right now, Mike? Because we've been sounding the alarm. We've been calling our legislators, we've been calling Congress. Congress and senators have come down. They've done the, little pony show and the talk at the border and all that other stuff, but nothing's really being done. The only thing that I know that's being done is they're building more detention centers. But yet we have no crisis. So
So,
what are you as a rancher or somebody out that you live in this West Texas, what are you hearing from other people? What I mean, I know you can't just do nothing. What are they saying we should do?
so here's what a lot of people are coming to me for. So I created Warriors for Ranchers. I wanted them to know I'm going to be a voice for them. The number one most important thing that we can have right now is the truth. We have mainstream media lying every single day. We have Biden's little puppet of a press secretary saying, I'm going to circle around to the fact that, the amount of children coming into the United States has went down and the amount of border crisis has gone down. And I'm going to say what I need to say to make Biden look good today. I'm going to say
Mhm.
that right now at the press secretary desk because that's exactly what she's doing. She wants to
Mhm.
make them look good. But can I ask the question? Have they came to our border? Have they,
No.
either our president or vice president, even shown 1 ounce of care to try to get a
Mhm.
handle on what's happening to Texas?
No. No.
So to me, what's happening right now, the amount of lives that's being lost, the amount of hearts that are being broken, the families that are being broken, there is there is a reason that we need to declare a state of emergency. We need to get our own governor to do it. Our nation needs to do it. We need to shut those borders down. We need to stop the trouble before it's coming in. If I were to ask you right now that my front door is open and I see an entire team of lions meat hungry coming at my door, and what they want to eat meat, are you going to shut the
Right.
door or leave it open? You're
Mhm.
going to shut that dang door and you're going to put barricades behind it. You're going to reinforce it and you're going to make sure they don't come in. Now, that's a childish little scenario, but that's literally what we have right now. We have meat hungry cartels bringing fully automatic weapons across our borders who are taking on hostages, sex trafficking, drug and money laundering. A lot of things are happening. I want to correct myself from our last meeting. I was very quick with my words. An individual coyote is not making 11 million a week. It is a group as a whole. The smuggling operation is making 11 million a week. The smuggling
Mhm.
is big business. And my
Yes.
thoughts, my concerns are this. If they're making 11 million a week and they're making 44 million a month, they're going to need to launder that money. And I think they're doing it by buying land. I mean, I don't have 100%, but land is power and it gives them more room to operate. And you and I both know there's a lot of land being bought up in South Texas.
Yes. Yes, correct.
and not know
So,
about it.
uh-huh. So let me tell you, I think that I hear the frustration of people. I'm hearing the frustration. There's more town halls right now that are being put together
Hmm.
by sheriffs out in all these counties. I know I've been invited to several.
Hmm.
I had to send one of my girls. My national coordinator is at one of them today. I believe. I don't know if it was the Goliad or DeWitt County. I think it might have been DeWitt County. She was going to that. It was, I think, definitely DeWitt. DeWitt County. The sheriff was going to speak there regarding this because she said literally, I mean, there's just small towns. I mean, Uvalde, is not really a really small town, but hers is even smaller than Uvalde.
It's
And she says, I'm hearing sirens. So something's going on.
yeah.
There's sirens going off and everything. And so she literally said that from what she's hearing from sheriffs and the people out there in this rural community, they are really, really tired that they're getting to the point where they feel that they need to go down to the border and take care of business themselves. Like they feel like, this is our state, we need to do something about it. And that's the problem,
I'm
you
gonna.
know.
I want to speak on that. You're exactly right. The ranchers and the farmers themselves, they realize that our law enforcement agencies are spread thin. They're working 400% more. I have seen women stand up and saying, "Can you deputize me? Can you deputize me to be a force here in Texas? Why can't we protect our own land?" I'm going to tell you something. It's powerful when a
Mhm.
woman stands up and says, "I right now don't mind being an officer to protect my country." That's what I hear.
Mhm.
And men and women all along have asked that. Border Patrol's answer was this, because we talked about the processing. Border Patrol agents are feet on the ground. When they take them off the ground and put them in the processing, now we're taking feet off the ground and now they're doing this job. But the answer was they cannot deputize citizens to do the processing. They have to be Border Patrol and they go through a special course. That was the chief's exact answer for that. And that's the rules and guidelines they have to follow. As far as citizens wanting to stand up, that's what I'm
Well,
hearing.
yeah, but remember, the border patrol can't deputize them, but a sheriff can.
A sheriff can. That's correct.
A
But
sheriff can deputize citizens to help them with manpower because they're now in a state of disaster in their county.
absolutely, the
So they
sheriff.
can, especially if you only have 5 people in your police unit because it's a 2,000 or less, populated area. If you only have a very small unit, then you're now having to deputize citizens that can make calls with you for your protection.
Yep.
Because as you told us this a couple of days ago, you had 68 people on your land that were
Yes.
captured. So imagine you can't go against those 68 people.
Oh
I mean,
man, I
you can,
have.
but it's not safe. It's not safe right now. So you want to have other people. So that's why some of these sheriffs are, deputizing people in these rural communities. But it's, again, not just random people. They're people that have some kind of skill, right? That know how to use a gun. And they're having them make calls for service so that they're not out there by themselves, that they're out in units, or that they can help detain people
Right.
till the other proper authorities get there to pick them up.
Let's speak on that. Me versus the majority.
Hmm.
I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky. It is it's a push pull with my world.
Hmm.
I'm blessed that Border Patrol is only minutes away. But the horror of my situation is I'm only minutes away from Border Patrol. So they're circumventing my property to get around Border Patrol's checkpoint. And that's why the influx of people coming onto our place is so high. But let's
Hmm.
talk about those families that are further. The time of response is longer, and the necessity there is important because on Jason Jones on Newsmax on his show, you saw the video I posted where
Hmm.
the ranger there is seeing 16 to 20 people crossing his trail cams at a time, and he can make a phone call, but by the time they get there for the distance some of these people are at, Those people can travel multiple miles, and they can be on multiple different farms spreading out, you know, to get to where they want to go. That to me, that's the hardest thing. Texas is huge. Texas is one of the few states you can drive 8 hours all day and still be in Texas. These people, they're on foot. They can travel 24 hours and they're still traveling through ranches and farms, and the sky's the limit to how far these border patrols are being stretched. They're being
Right.
stretched to try to find these guys. It is literally like trying to find a needle in a haystack, because from aerial view, looking down, those sections look like a giant haystack. And trying to
Mm-hmm.
find somebody dressed in solid black makes it even more difficult for them. I want to circle back. I hate using that word, but it's trending, to the question you asked me about what are people saying they want to do. And I talked about we need the truth. I currently have open records requests with Uvalde. It's very, very expensive. Where I could use help from people is I'm funding all this currently out of my own income. And
Mm-hmm.
if people want to donate to Warriors for Ranchers, the money's going to be used to get data. Data is what's going to be the number one thing. So when you go to open records request, as you know, Bianca, it's $15 an hour. I'm going all the way back to January. So I want you to know my current work and what I'm looking to do. I'm asking for every single vehicle that's been stolen. I'm asking for, have they recovered any of them? I'm asking for how many rape cases have we had due to this crisis? How many people's houses have been broken into? How many farmers have found dead bodies on their property? And how many children are currently being detained at these centers? And how many numbers have we seen growth month over month? And I'm also looking at how many sex offenders have come into Texas. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm also looking at how many infected individuals are we dealing with. Those are the numbers I'm currently having them pull up for me. And as soon as I have that raw data, it will be in your hands.
Awesome. We'll do another live when you get that information, because I think the truth is powerful. The more that we put the truth out there and put it out through different sources, the better that they're not going to be able to negate things anymore. So, sheriffs are doing their job. Sheriffs are already asking state, they're declaring with the county judges, state of disasters, and they're trying to really put the pressure on the governor to do something, instead of playing footsie with Biden. And I think that more people like you that come out that are being really affected with life stories, I think that's going to be more helpful, and they're not going to be able to shut you down. It's one
Absolutely.
thing for the law enforcement to say one thing, but you're legitimately being affected by this. And other ranchers, other farmers, other people who have just retired and moved out to the country, wanted to be left alone, are now having to deal with this disaster and this mess. And
And
so I think that the more that we put the truth out, Mike, the better it'll be. I applaud your efforts. I applaud everything. If people want to find you, how can they find you?
so find me on Warriors for Ranchers on Facebook. Like the page. I also have a group on the page. And people are asking, why do you have a page and why do you have a group? Our pages that are in this type of realm are being attacked by false profiles. And because I have the group, I want you guys to understand I'm doing all this on my own right now. And I do have some folks that are wanting to volunteer to be moderators. This page is growing pretty rapidly. So to get on my group, just answer the questions, tell me the truth. And I see that you're an American, you're going to be able to get in here. The folks that are coming onto the page that have a different stance on where we are and they just want to badmouth people and create drama, I'm not going to let them in. And that's why I separated the group in the actual page. It gives
Very
me
good.
to moderate a little bit.
Awesome. Very good. Well, Mike, I thank you so much. I thank you for the efforts. As many of us have found out in this political realm and this movement, is that a lot of us do this from because, our passions in it. None of us really get paid. We're not paid employees of the government. We're not paid employees of the state. We're not paid employees by anybody. And so everything that we do does come out of our pocket. And so, I just want people to know that, all support, anytime you support, here's our website, LatinoTrumpCoalition.org. You can also support our organization. When you support our organization, we are able to help people, as Mike Miller and others out there that need help, and so we have been very blessed by God, and been, extremely blessed within our organization and within our pack. And I just want to say that, I'm going to keep putting the truth out as long as, I'm able to, right? But I think today was definitely a very big move for you to go to the Capitol and actually voice your voice and keep going. And Mike, one of the things is when those representatives don't look at you in the eye and you're testifying, you are limited at time. They only give you 3 minutes, but you need to say, excuse me, I drove this long and I deserve for you to look at me in the eye. You need to call them out, because I think that these representatives forget that they work for us. They think that we don't matter, and oh, here comes another person and blah blah blah. You
I
know,
see
it's
you the
not
next
about that.
walk in there, you know
Mm-hmm.
where I stand, where my voice is. Today
Mm-hmm.
I went in there and I feel, in a small sense, I was taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the people who care about me, all the people who've wrote to me today, all the people who've blown up my phone. Keep blowing up my phone. I love you guys. I will get to each and every one of your questions. I'm going to do everything in my power I can to help you guys. That's why I'm doing this. But the next time I stand up there and somebody's not looking at me, I'm going to stop and I'm going to say, I have driven a long time to come here. And the very least you can do is give me your full and undivided attention. It's
That's
actually
right.
rude to be playing with your pens and papers and not looking at me. And I don't give a damn whether you want to hear what I have to say. You're going to hear it before I walk off this podium.
There you go. That's right. Well, good for you, Mike. Listen, I thank you so much. Again, we came on at very late tonight at 10 o'clock. I thank all of our viewers. We've had a
Yes.
lot of viewers today. Please share this message. If you didn't listen to Mike's Miller's testimony, go back in through my feed at Bianca for Texas. I interviewed him about 2 days ago, and I know it was Mike, we were on for about an hour and 45 minutes, but you had a lot to say about what actually happened on your ranch and what actually was happening on other ranches. We talked about it very little bit this time. I wanted you to just give an update because you went to the Capitol today. That's what was more important. But please go and listen. Please share his message. Share his page on Facebook, Instagram. I believe you're also on Instagram. So make sure you go and follow him, because he's going to post. I saw that you're already putting updates. You're putting
Yep.
the pictures that you're getting from these police departments and stuff, the things that are being found, dead bodies that are being found. You're putting those images out.
So, Bianca, I want to say on behalf of everybody who's watching this, you have extreme value in our nation. You're an extremely powerful voice for our country. And I want you to know how much you mean to me. And I thank you for helping get my story out there. And thank you for helping Warriors for Ranchers get our voice out there. Because with us teaming up together and coming together, we're closer in numbers and bigger in numbers and more powerful in numbers to get the right things done, to protect our state of Texas, and to make the right choices for everybody in America.
Mike, I think Melanie here, Melo Fuentes, actually wrote and said, and this is actually a very good idea. Thank you, Mel. She put, maybe the landowners should sue the state and Governor Abbott for not doing enough to protect Texans.
That's
And they should sue, in order to get compensation to fix your ranches. I think that would send a very clear message, I should say, to the governor and the state when they have to start paying because they didn't protect the borders, and now you're having to pay to, fix your fences and fix your property and your water, the what is it, the mills and everywhere that they go, and the busted pipes and breaking your windows if they break into your house or cabins or whatever. All of that stuff that has to be cleaned up.
moms that just want to take their kids to school and their vehicles have been stolen. These
That's right.
vehicles, they're not just stolen, they are ran through farm fences. When they get them back, it literally looks like they went to that junkyard place where they crush them. I mean, they're so beat up, they have to total it. And you guys know they're paying the deductible and they're months out. They get a rental car, but they're
Mm-hmm.
months out before they get this whole thing settled. And it's a big mess for everybody. And that's unfair. It's
I
not just,
think you should,
it's a whole
yeah.
part.
I think, Mike, you should talk to some of the landowners and some of the ranchers and say, you know what, we need to do a lawsuit and sue the governor and the state of Texas for compensation for this. I bet you that'll get their attention. And
Sure.
we'll talk about that. But thank you, Mike, so much for being on. Again, I know it was late night. I know we're almost at the hour. So we will bring you back on, and we will definitely talk more about, any more updates as they come. And hopefully, we will be able to help some of our sheriffs out in some of these counties, especially the 36 counties that have already declared a state disaster in their counties. And the sheriffs are up to, with damages, with crime is up, as you know it. So we need to be very supportive of our sheriff's alliance, our sheriff's associations. We need to be, pretty much advocating for them. But Mike, thank you
I,
so very much.
the
And we will definitely be on later tonight. And thank you, Patriots. Again, share this message so that Mike's message gets out further. Anyway, as I always say, and one last thing before I forget, if you have not bought your tickets and haven't bought your tickets for Dallas, Texas, next week, guys, we're a week away now. Tomorrow, as of tomorrow, we will be officially a week away from the Dallas event. FNF Frank and Nancy Frank tickets.com, FNF tickets.com. I think some of the sessions are very close to being sold out or are sold out, some that from what I was being told, but there's still some tickets left. I think they were going to open up some additional space to sell some more tickets. So if you haven't bought those tickets, please visit the website fnftickets.com. It is a Faith and Freedom Conference. We have over 50 speakers. Again, these speakers are going to be on panels. There'll be speakers, there'll be trainings. And so me and Mike will be there. My whole team will be there. Our Latinos for Trump, Latinos for America First will be there. We've got all kinds of people coming.
Did you just introduce me as your special guest?
You are going to be one of our special guests. Yes, absolutely. So we have multiple amounts of people that are coming from across the country. This is going to be a really big deal, and so, yes. So Mello, yes, thank you so very much. It is fnftickets.com. You're correct, Sheena. fnftickets.com. You're correct. Faith and Freedom. So the F and F is for Faith and Freedom.
You guys meet in person and you want to meet Bianca in person, you be there at the event. It's going to be huge. Some amazing, amazing pastors. Folks, I'm excited to see.
I know you're going to meet a lot of people. This is going to be the place to be in Dallas, Texas. You want to talk about that they're going to get updates on what's happening in Arizona from the people who are actually on the floor and doing that whole audit in Arizona. You're going to hear from people, influencers from across the country come together. Pastor Lockie, Pastor Gibson. I was on a podcast earlier with Pastor Gibson. Amazing people. Matt Couch, who's worked tremendously hard in putting this thing together. He's never put an event at this caliber together before. And let me tell you, he is knocking it out of the park. He's bringing people from all over. We've got candidates that are running for Congress across the nation that are going to come meet us, talk to us. We have to build an alliance of coalitions that like never before. And this is going to be a place where you can come get the truth. That's really what it's going to boil down to. So please visit fnftickets.com and get your tickets. It is extremely affordable. I don't know what other conference you can go that you will meet all these people for. I think it's each session is $59. And if you want entrance, VIP entrance into the whole entire weekend from Thursday night to Sunday, it's $199. Most events easily are $250, $500, $1,000 to come in. This is very, very affordable. If you're not going to be able to come, but for Saturday and Sunday, then you just buy a ticket for Saturday, $59, and a ticket for Sunday, $59. It is that simple. That's what, $120 or whatever. So very, very affordable. This is for grassroots people, and this is what it's about. Tracy Cooper, yes, it is in Uvalde, Texas. Mello, yes, Pastor Greg Lockie, he will be there. It is going to be an amazing conference. I'm very excited. I cannot wait. And so, yes, but we hope to see you there. Please, anybody in Texas, if you're not in Texas, please share the message. Come visit us at the Faith and Freedom Conference next week, starting on Thursday evening, and it runs through Saturday. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful and blessed night. God bless Texas. God bless the United States. And God bless Donald J. Trump, I still say, because I still think he's our president. So we need him back. Thank you so very much, guys. Thanks so much. Peace out.
Peace out.